Hello and welcome to the spoken version of RossenTales for winter 2015. This is the newsletter for the Rossendale Trust, keeping you in touch with everything which has been going on in the last 3 months. It's been a busy time as usual. We hope you enjoy it.
Fabulous fashion. Backed by popular demand, this year's fashion show was held in October at the Titherington Club, Macclesfield. This is a larger venue than we have been used to in the past, which meant we could welcome over 200 guests, eager to see the latest fashions and styles modelled by some members of staff and tenants. The models were well supported by the appreciative audience, and the sound of their applause encouraged even the more timid models to swish and swagger down the catwalk to rapturous applause. The fashionable clothing, not available on the high street, was affordable and fun. 10% from the record-breaking sales of clothes generated over £300 to the Trust. Supported by a variety of stallholders selling everything from gifts, jewellery, accessories, fine chocolates and cheese, the fundraising event, which also included a raffle, raised over £3,000 for the Trust. It was a pleasure to be part of such a memorable event. It was clear how much love everyone has for the people in their care, said one of the stallholders. Sue Heaven, head of fundraising, added, "It was a wonderful evening and a great chance to raise funds for the Trust in such an enjoyable and rewarding way."
Getting a lift. At the beginning of November, a long-held plan became reality when a lift into the main hall at the Rossendale headquarters in Sutton was finally fitted and started to operate. First up into the hall was Trevor Kennelly, who was delighted to be able to visit some of the staff he has known for many years. Although we've long wanted to improve the access into the building, all the previous prices for a lift have been too expensive. This external, simple lift is easy to use and opens the hall up to all users and visitors.
Christmas is just around the corner. Meanwhile, over in Buxton, after Gaynor Baldwin's swimming session in the first week of November, she went on a trip to the Gait Pub in Chapel-on-le-Frith for lunch and to see the famous Christmas decorations that the pub puts up each year. Gaynor really enjoyed the dazzling experience. The Christmas decorations are truly amazing and take over 4 weeks to put up. The pub build on them each year and now have a huge collection. They are often on the television news because of the decorations. The pub's leaflet says, "Last year there was over 1,700 lengths of garland used on the ceilings and walls. That's 5 times the length of a football pitch. Over 7,000 baubles were strung up, and most staggering of all, there were 27,000 lights used to illuminate us. We also have our new illuminated willow tree on arrival outside with over 600 lights."
Farewell. The Trust recently said goodbye to a long-serving member of staff, Rosie Tabner, who has left us to become a full-time mother to her daughter Amber, who was born on the 8th of January this year. Rosie fulfilled many roles in her years with the Trust. She worked at the day centre when it was based at the ex-servicemen's club in the village, where she was a senior support worker in Old Hillside at the hall site. In recent years, she worked at the hall with Sue Heaven, where her job was a mixture of PR publicity, design, photography, video, administration and so on. Rosie will be missed by us all, so back in September we had a proper send-off at the hall with tea and, this being Rosie, cakes and chocolate.
Tenant Richard Johnson interviews Jane Bramall, senior support worker at Canalside View.
How long have you worked at Rossendale?
30 years, from when I was 14. Ernie Hyde and Alan Chapman came to my school to do a talk about Rossendale and wanted volunteers.
What happened on your first day?
I felt very nervous and I got my hair pulled as I got too close to a lady when I said hello to her. It didn't put me off though. and I loved being a volunteer and helping out.
Where did you work?
I worked at Rossendale Hall and was the team leader for short stay. I also worked at the day centre and at Woodlands. I remember working with Marlene, Hilary and Jeanette, and there was a cat called Marmaduke. We went on holidays to Butlins and Cornwall. I was known as Punky Jane because of my hair. I was also in the TV programme about Richard Chapman in the 1980s. I'd love to see that again.
Have you got any funny stories?
I didn't know what a commode was when I first came and got the laundry basket instead. Not long after I started, I had to cook a Sunday lunch for 15 people, which I hadn't done before, and wash up as well, because that was before we had dishwashers. And then the pond, that got flooded one day, and we had to put all the towels down and sandbags to stop the water coming into the house.
So what do you think about Rossendale now?
It's very different, but better, and everyone has more choices of what they want to do.
What do you do when you're not at work?
I live in Spain with my partner and travel back to work at Canalside. I like to travel, go out for meals, reading and watching Formula 1 and football.
What team do you support?
United.
Yes, just like me. Do you like red wine?
Yes.
Do you still see Rachel, who used to work at Woodlands?
Yes, we go on holiday together. And we went to Japan this year. I would like to go back to Japan and travel to Australia and Peru as well.
So do you like being here?
Yes, I do. I loved the flowers I was given as part of my long service last week. I'm like part of the furniture.
Long service. 2 of the longest serving staff have recently been thanked by the Trust for their commitment and skill. Jane Bramhall has been with us for 30 years and Leslie Ingham for 25. They have worked together for much of that time, first at Woodlands and now at Canalside View. Andy Caesar, head of care for the Trust, presented each with a bouquet of flowers on a sunny day on the terrace at Canalside. Andy said, "We're thanking Leslie and Jane today on behalf of all of the residents and tenants for whom they have cared over the years. They have been a part of the lives of so many people."
New music. It's time to introduce you to our new music teacher, Becky Morley. Becky's replaced our long-standing and now retired music teacher, Ruth, and has brought a new, fresh approach to our music sessions. Becky is full of energy, enthusiasm and always has a smile. She plays up-tempo music to begin the sessions, to warm the groups up, getting everybody moving and using a range of props. The group are learning new and old songs and have started work on a variety show for 2016. Numbers are already on the increase for the music sessions and we can't wait to continue on the new year working with Becky. Emily, part of our media group in Oakwood, has recently been learning how to use video editing software on one of our new computers. Emily has been busy recording lots of video, both during her media sessions and also on trips out with family. She has then been even busier, editing it all to create a wonderful movie of her travels.
Charity Golf Day, a swinging success. The first Rossendale Trust Charity Golf Day at Titherington was a massive success. It was organised for us by our friend Victoria Howarth. She said that the event was inspired by a presentation which was given by Jason Blythe from Oakwood at their recent AGM. Jason highlighted the urgent need for the redevelopment of the horticultural site at Rossendale Hall and the value of horticulture as an activity for adults with learning disabilities. Victoria was determined to raise enough funds to replace the glass greenhouses with new polytunnels. The event involved 18 teams made up from a variety of local businesses. The shotgun start meant that all the teams started at 1 o'clock at different holes and did not involve any guns at all. The chilly wind was kept at bay thanks to regular sips of sloe gin available from a golf cart which darted amongst the players. The cheery atmosphere continued on with a 2-course meal, a raffle and presentation of the prizes in the Dorchester Suite. It's a pleasure to support a local charity which visibly has such an impact on the daily lives of the people in their care, said Margaret Jordan, secretary to the Titherington Golf Club. And an amazing £4,000 cheque was recently presented to the Trust as a result of this event and of other fundraising activities by the Golf Club in support of the Trust.
North East Cheshire Awards Night. The Trust has been building up a good relationship with the Macclesfield Chamber of Commerce for more than a year now. Having won the Community Impact Award in 2014, we were the Chamber's choice as charity of the night for this year's awards event, held on November the 19th. It turned out to be a really valuable and enjoyable evening. Sue Heaven gave a rousing and passionate opening speech to the 350 business people who attended the black tie event at the Mere Hotel in Knutsford. As she spoke, images of the tenants and the activities of the Trust were on the screen behind her. It was clear that we had made a real impression on the night, and this was reinforced by the video produced by Carl Downing, which ran at various points during the evening. Having won our award last year, Rossendale could not enter this year, but by time the auction had been held and the raffle drawn, the night had made more than £4,000 for the Trust. Maybe, more importantly, it felt as though everyone in the room had a strong and lasting vision of the work of the Trust, which we will be working to turn into new and positive relationships. Thanks especially to Sue Bowden and her team at the Chamber for their support during the evening and also before the event.
Box of Kindness. Christine Black, who lives in Riverside, went to her church on the 1st of November and listened to John Harris, the vicar, talking about shoebox service, which was to be held on the 15th of November. After the service, Christine was talking to John and she asked him what the shoebox was all about. He explained that he was asking the congregation to fill a shoebox with small gifts for children who would not be getting any presents to open on Christmas Day. Christine thought this was a lovely idea and wanted to do this herself. She said, "I wanted to be kind." Christine chose to buy gifts for a girl aged 6 to 8 and now has filled her shoebox and written a prayer to be sent with the box.
Tea prize. One of the great prizes at our summer fete was afternoon tea at the Midland Hotel in Manchester. The lucky winners have sent us a report. We have just returned from enjoying our fabulous afternoon tea. What an experience! We were welcomed with a glass of Madeira wine, and our waiter was a very pleasant gentleman who treated us as if we were at Downton Abbey. This was soon to be followed by a large glass of bubbly. We were then served with a special blend of tea that pays homage to the founding of the Midland Hotel and taking a leaf out of the quintessential English brew from British India. There were smoked salmon canapes and chicken wraps, all very daintily presented, followed by sandwiches, egg mayonnaise, cucumber and ham, and then plain and sultana scones with clotted cream and strawberry preserve. And a selection of cakes too, raspberry pavlova, carrot cake, chocolate orange opera cake and a Vimto jelly. Of course, Vimto has been brewed in Manchester for years. Many thanks for a lovely afternoon tea. It made us both feel very special. We send our love to all of you there at Rossendale. Thank you, Heather and David Potts.
Getting a taste for chocolate. Recently, 2 tenants of Rossendale Trust embarked on a wonderful task. They were asked to visit the chocolatiers Meg and Francisco at Misco's Chocolate in Congleton. Richard Johnson and Paul Smith were the lucky people to be part of this visit, the first work taste session at Misco's. When things started, the aroma of fine ingredients was soon wafting around the room. Experts Meg and Francisco showed the art of making their little chocolate delights, and the guys soon picked up the skills. Richard made his own take on the ever-popular Toblerone bar with its own distinct taste. But of course, Misco helped turn the bar into something even more tasty with their fresh ingredients. For Paul's work taste session, he chose to make some scrummy orange-flavoured chocolate bombshells. Both picked up some great skills at Misco and have begun a process of learning and developing their opportunities of real work taste placements. The opportunities companies like Misco can provide for our tenants to get a taste of the workplace are always rewarding. Meg and Francisco also get some valuable help and support, as well as enjoying the opportunity to support individuals on a path to work. They said, "We are thrilled to be able to offer Richard and Paul the experience of making chocolates with us. We've thoroughly enjoyed our time with them and are very much looking forward to getting more involved with the RossenTales Trust in this way."
Ashley at Macclesfield Motor Factors. We are very grateful to all the local businesses and community projects who offer their support to our Work Taste initiative. One of our tenants, Ashley Rose, has recently started a placement at Macclesfield Motor Factors, where he will be putting together orders of car parts for delivery in the Macclesfield area. Ashley was very pleased to be taken to visit one of their customers who has a garage full of Aston Martins. Ash is very interested in cars in general and was especially pleased to get the chance to sit in an Aston Martin DB7, James Bond's favourite car.
Support for Work Taste. Work Taste received a great boost recently with a grant from the Cheshire Community Foundation of £6,960. This fantastic grant will be used to support the work of the Work Taste coaches who will be supporting our tenants when they are out on the various work placements. Using coaches is new to us, although it is an approach which has been used elsewhere. It means that the tenants are not limited by the hours of one-to-one support which are funded by the local authority when they want to take up a work taste placement. We are recruiting coaches at present. The generosity of the Cheshire Community Foundation will make a major contribution to keeping Work Taste expanding and offering opportunities to all of our tenants in the Trust.
Happy 20th. Estate agents Jordan Fyshwick have carried on sharing the celebrations of their 20th anniversary with the RossenTales Trust. The year-long scheme called 2020 Vision makes a donation of £20 to the Trust for every instruction which the agency receive through all of their 10 offices across Cheshire, Derbyshire and Manchester. Recently, Rose Gardens tenants Paul Smith and Chris Welsh received another fantastic donation, the third one this year, of £6,140 from the agency's partner Christopher Hawthorne and lettings manager Charlotte Sexton. Steve Nichols said, "This scheme which Jordan Fyshwick are running is simply a brilliant idea. The donations are a centrepiece for our fundraising efforts this year. For a charity the size of RossenTales, finances are getting tighter every year, so this is not only a great honour for us, it also makes a huge contribution to the service which we deliver to the people we support. And this is only part of Jordan Fyshwick's commitment to the Trust, because we are also the company's chosen Charity of the Year."
Medac's donation. Earlier this autumn, we received a major donation of £8,000 from a local company, Adamley Medacs. This donation, specifically given to the horticultural service within Oakwood, is going to make a huge difference to the environment and the equipment that service can offer to both tenants of the Trust and to those who attend Oakwood from the wider community. Lee Textiles is based at a mill in the village of Langley, a mile up the road from the Trust's Sutton base. Every year the company donates a proportion of their annual profits to a nominated cause, and this year RossenTales was that fortunate charity. The Langley 7. Who would run for 7 miles, part of it up a very steep hill, in the driving rain, for fun? It turns out that 300 runners from all over the northwest would, and did. And in doing so they raised over £3,000 for the Trust, which is a wonderful donation. The race is called the Langley 7, and it is organised in November every year by the Macclesfield Harriers, a local running club. This year the Trust was chosen as the charity to be supported by the event for the second time. The route goes past the entrance to RossenTales Hall, so a lot of the tenants were out in force as the runners streamed past. Amongst the 300 were Tessa Wiscard, one of our trustees, and Carl Downing, who showed us all that completing the London Marathon this year was not just a fluke, as some had thought. The run finishes in Langley, where 2 of our Canalside tenants, Ricky Nichols and Richard Johnson, were on hand to help distribute the prizes to the runners. Many thanks to the Harriers, who included us again in this popular local event. All of the runners generously give their subscription to the race and the proceeds of the cake sale at the finish to the chosen charity, which is us. A donation of this size makes a real difference to the people we support. This donation will go a long way towards the cost of purchasing a badly needed new vehicle.
Meet the chairperson of the trustee board. My name is Moira Beswick and I have lived in Macclesfield since 1968. My partner Brian and I have lived together for almost 20 years and he has a daughter called Angela. We are about to become grandparents for the first time as Angela and her husband Oliver are having their first baby, so our Christmas this year will be very exciting and different. My interests are, well, a huge and passionate involvement with the RossenTales Trust over the last 27 years. I do other charity work. I like holidays, gardening and a little bit of DIY. One surprising thing about me is that I was involved with the arrival and distribution of Panda cars and Z cars for the police at Police HQ in Cheshire. When did I become a trustee? Well, that happened about 16 years ago. Why did I become a trustee? Mark Goodwin's mum, Eileen, and myself worked very closely on a specific project when we were both working at ICI, or AstraZeneca as it's called now. And through our friendship, I got to hear about Mark, who is a tenant in Riverside and living at RossenTales. Eileen got me involved with the trust and I joined the PR committee with the founder of the trust, Alan Chapman. This small group eventually increased to 10 people and I became the chairman of that committee. We were very active in arranging many events in the local community and the trust started to be better known. During this time, I was involved with the trustee board members and was asked to join them. At that time, the chairman was Ray Nichols. What makes a good trustee? Well, knowledge and understanding of the charity and personal commitment are essential ingredients. Also ensuring that the CQC, and that stands for Care Quality Commission, details are well known and understood. I also try to get to know the staff and tenants that I'm responsible for. And keep in touch with the tenants' families can also bring many benefits and pleasures. My education and past and present jobs, Well, I was born in Aberdeen and lived there until I was 10 years of age. My qualifications were in the commercial area, such as shorthand, typing, art, etc. My working career really took off when I started at Police HQ in Cheshire, where I worked for 5 years. When I moved to Macclesfield, I worked for ICI, AstraZeneca, for 35 years, and for the last 22 years I was the facilities manager there. I took early retirement in 2003, and in 2004 I started work at Macclesfield Hospital for 4 years as service manager. After that I worked alongside Mike Frost, who was the CEO for the trust at the time, for 3 years before he sadly died. We totally reorganised the trust building and the professional team that we now have in place. New computer and telephone systems have been developed and installed, and we also reviewed our policies and procedures. We developed our first website and started the wonderful working relationship with the Contour Housing Association. All of these things have meant I have very happy memories, and they have been satisfying years for me. My best experience at RossenTales Trust since I got involved was when the first 16 tenants moved into the Riverside apartments. It was absolutely magical, and their first big step into independent living and living away from residential care.
That's the end of this edition of RossenTales. We hope you've enjoyed it. If you've got any thoughts and ideas, please bring them into the hall to Carl or to Sue. In the meantime, carry on listening, and we'll be back again in 3 months' time with the spring edition of RossenTales.